hago daño a mí mismo. Si te amo y respeto, me amo y respeto yo. Translated, this means, you are my other me. If I do harm to you, I do harm to myself. If I love and respect you, I love and respect myself. This poem is currently banned in all Arizona school districts, and I first learned about it my fall semester sophomore year liberation psychology class, which was a part of a stack of classes I was taking the summer after my parents had separated and my dad had moved out of the house. This summer wasn't particularly eventful, but an outstanding occurrence was the healing that my mom insisted I must go through. She recommended me to her therapist, who she was seeing at the time, and after one session, I knew it was not for me. Some could say it was a therapist, but I hated wrangling with this idea that something was wrong with me rather than the entire situation. It bothered me that both my parents were psychologists and couldn't figure out a way to remedy their issues productively, which is what initially attracted me to liberation psychology. The textbook definition being a jailbreak from oppressive ideology and practices, which includes insight and restoration for every single human, including bystanders, witnesses, and even the perpetrators themselves. This idea sung to me so intensely because it didn't call for a diagnosis or a treatment plan, but rather small steps and inner work to do the outer work of helping others. My professor was also very adamant about the fact that it is something we do alongside each other, but at the end of the day, no one can do it for one another. And it's this action-based approach was better for me than having to sit in a chair and rehash my feelings every week. I also resonated with its origins as it was founded by a person of color named Ignacio Martín Barro, a social psychologist based out of El Salvador, rather than the European scholars who govern the Western world of psychology. Along with this action-based approach, LibPsych is heavily involved with this idea of praxis. It's a cycle of practicing, knowing, and transforming. This cycle is never-ending and doesn't mean one must organize a protest, but instead participate in something called critical consciousness, being aware of our structural realities and the role we have in them. And part of my praxis today is standing in front of you and spreading the word, as best said by civil rights activist Fred Hampton, theory is cool, but theory without practice ain't shit. And a lot of our lives are spent learning about what could theoretically happen, but not how we can put an action behind said ideas. Liberation psychology as a discipline was so radically different from any other psych class I'd taken on, and incorporating its principles aided me in a time when I knew Western medicine couldn't. I'd like to share some of those ideas with you guys that altered my personal worldview besides praxis. The first is individualism. It's rarely referenced, but it's often used when someone is labeled lazy, mentally impaired, or the problem, when in reality, systems such as colonization coexist with this victim blaming. When you assume you are the problem, you fail to factor in systemic and embedded practices such as colonization, which make it impossible to deviate from systems that have you prioritize personal well-being over collective well-being. As trivial as this realization may seem, the fact that it was not completely on my own shoulders to mend my obstacles made me even more receptive to liberation psychology, especially decolonization, which I still carry with me today. Before honing in on that, I do want to talk about epistemology really quick, which is literally just how you come to know things. And it can vary from a textbook to a tarot card reading. I personally prefer the latter, but it's just how information is circulated and redistributed in a society that really only glorifies the written word. This was staggering for me, as I had only been able to consult the experts of the internet for all my pressing matters, but LibPsych helped me listen to my gut and consult more holistic practices of healing, such as meditation or moving my body before seeking more occidental measures. The last theory I want to leave you all with is a theory proposed to rehumanize the world, titled the 10 Ds of decolonization. And while I won't make you sit through all 10 of them, I do want to bring up 3, which are de-imperialization, de-patriarchalization, and decanonization. De-imperialization meaning putting a stop to the exploitation of the global South and all of its resources. Depatriarchalization meaning moving away from dominant constructions of gender and opening up to more egalitarian ways of being in the world. And lastly, decanonization, meaning opening up to other knowledges, epistemologies, and histories that connect you with your body, the earth, and spirituality. My hope is for everyone to take at least one piece of information that I have said and remember that you can be any human and still be a liberation psychologist. And the whole point is to do the work from the inside out. Thank you.